Hey everyone, and welcome back to Open Hybrid. Our next guest is, well, she's living out her dream. Yeah. At the age of 12, she began training in various dance styles such as mambo, salsa, and multiple forms of hip hop. And well, instead of accepting a scholarship to one of New York City's most prestigious universities, NYU, she went against the grain to live out her dream. And so her energy and charisma, bueno, and of course, her development has allowed her to hit the stage with some of the music industry's biggest acts. Acts such as Beyonce, Lady Gaga, Cardi B, Selena Gomez, Megan Trainor, so Weetie, and that is just to name a few. This is really exciting because, when you go for it, she really went for it, let's say, right? And so now she has these new endeavors that she's building, which is a platform called Cruz with Ashley. And that's designed to inspire young girls everywhere to think big and follow their dreams. Please welcome dancer and artist, Ashley Cruz. Hello, hello, hello.
Oh, you made it sound even more exciting. I love it.
Well, I think it's just important that whomever is watching and questioning whether they should do the college thing or pursue their dream, that nobody's discouraging anybody from pursuing higher learning. But there's also that learning from experience that happens as well. And you're a living example of that.
Yes. I like to say that the industry and the entertainment business has been my college. It was just my choice of the way that I wanted to experience life. And it worked out for me. And it can work out for many others, or it can be the college life. I can't say that sometimes I'm not like, I wish I got that experience. But I'm truly, truly, truly grateful for my path and my journey.
Well, I mean, I just said the names, right? But just Queen Bee herself, and if I'm not mistaken, you were in the choreography for the Oscar presentation she did, right?
Yeah, that was super full circle because one of the biggest jobs that I've done, and the job that was able to actually set me up for success here in California, was Beachella, when we did Coachella. And it was just full circle to have done the Oscars just recently with her, because it's just put a little confirmation on my whole journey here in California. So it was really, really, really great. It's a really full circle moment.
And so of all the different celebrities you've danced alongside, which has been the most challenging to choreograph, not you choreograph, but work with choreography?
That's always such a hard question, because sometimes it's retention based, sometimes it's athletic based. But I can say that Beachella was definitely the most challenging. I mean, if you saw Homecoming on Netflix, you saw the blood, sweat, and tears that went into that. So yeah, that was definitely what set me up for the longevity in the business here in California. Really set me up for success.
And so when you say the longevity, you're referring to the roll into the next choreography. And also, is there a choreography coalition of some sort? I'm just curious because because there's somebody who's choreographing this, and then there's these mainstream celebrities who are hiring those choreographers and or have their own choreographers who then hire the dancers. It's its own community. So how does that work?
You just said it. Community. It's definitely community based. It's important to go out and support the choreographers when the choreographers are teaching from the ground. A lot of these choreographers have been doing this for so long, so it's really important to support them from the ground. And then as they, continue to rise and choreograph with these artists, to continue to support them. And then also go out and network and, be amongst the community, like you said. And just making sure you also do your due diligence on social media and make sure that they can best fight for you when putting you in these positions for these large opportunities. So you said it best, definitely just staying amongst the community of choreographers and dancers and agencies and just like really be like in the life, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and so before we came on air, and thank you for sharing that for any aspiring dancers who want to live out this touring career, right? Because that's almost in the realm of like sometimes you get booked for a tour to travel with these artists as well, right? So what does that look like, right? Is it a couple of months or like what kind of arrangements are made with that? Do they rotate dancers? I've always been very curious about how it looks like from your perspective, from the dancer's perspective.
Yeah. So from our perspective, it varies. It varies. Like I'm going on like a 2 week tour next month, 2 weeks, right? But I've also been on a tour that lasted a couple of months. Some dancers tour for a year, years even. So it definitely varies. And then there's also like what I've been fortunate to be a part of the last couple of years since post pandemic is just to also be mostly in one place, which is here in California, and also just like work from here. There's so many like award shows and TV shows that go on from being also in one place. And yeah, so it honestly just varies. With touring, it can go from a week to 2 weeks to a couple of months to years. And
No,
then
I'm smiling. I'm smiling because thanks for sharing that. Because you just recently did the VMAs and you were dancing alongside Nicki Minaj. I was like, oh, that was
yes, and I wouldn't have been able to do something like that if I was out on tour, you
right.
know? So that was pretty amazing.
I would imagine so. So, but how do you decide though? How do you decide? You know what? I think I'm going to sit this one out, and I don't think I'm going to take that tour. How do you make those decisions?
They are definitely hard. It definitely takes a village. It definitely takes a few phone calls to like a mentor and like a friend and maybe a family member. But I just also like really listen to my intuition and what's right for me now. I didn't always have that because in the beginning of my career, it was like, yes, 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 yes. But now it's definitely been what is going to propel me forward in the other things that I also want to do. So sometimes it's nice to sit right here and be placed and work on other things like acting and like growing my business while I can also be a part of iconic things like a Vanguard performance with Nicki Minaj.
You have to bring it back to that. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's what's up. I love that. I love that. Yeah. And so before we got on the air, you mentioned that you were working with movement now. So that also loans itself, right? Because the idea is that you're almost like an artist of movement of the body and how that. So are you doing choreography as well?
That's so good. The way you explained it is so good. So yeah, basically it's I like to say just I like to keep it on the movement direction because I just really value and respect choreographers. So I definitely do movement coaching and movement directing. So I've been grateful to be on these sets and managers and labels, they see me, and I also have mentors that put me into positions. Shout out to Tia Rivera and Donna, and they've put me in these positions to go ahead and work.
Tia Rivera is a powerhouse.
Yes, she
Can we
is.
just say who she is though before you, because we got to mention her really quick because I mean she went from being a dancer to being the choreographer of Beyonce's
Yes.
Oscar performance.
Yeah, she's a choreographer. She's straight out of Brooklyn. So repping New York and yeah, just like really like showing up for Latina, showing up for minorities, showing up for, past dancers. Like she's been killing the game. And she works hand in hand with these artists. And yeah, so I've just been grateful to also shadow like women who are in that position. And now I'm able to have almost like a whole nother like career, in movement directing, setting up artists, their set lists and like what song transitions and should you be on the mic stand here and like is your set going to be more sexy and sultry or more of like a vibe and more grounded? So that's kind of where I've been amongst doing the other things and still dancing. But it's been really, really nice to see what being a dancer can also like open in terms of opportunities.
Right, because you're still in the field, just working a different aspect of it.
Exactly.
You work in that business. That's what's up. Oh my gosh. And thank you for your generosity and sharing it with our viewers. And I hope this truly inspires anyone who's watching, who's really out to make a career in dancing. Ashley Cruz, everyone.
Let's go
Woo,
out and get
and
it, guys. Go out and get it.
go out and get it. All right. But guess what? We spoke the business aspect of it, but when we return, she's going to perform for us. So don't go anywhere.